I met Paul Greengard, Ursula's husband, before I met Ursula, because we had a mutual friend, Robert Peary, who would have both very large formal dinner parties, and there were many times where jazz musicians, writers, artists, politicians, news broadcasters. He was a good friend with Tom Brokaw. So one never knew who was going to be at a dinner party.
But they had to be the who's who.
Well, he was on the board of the American Academy in Rome for a while. And my wife restored all the buildings there and then became deputy director. So we met Robert Peary in Rome, and Christina, my wife, was spending time in Rome and with my traveling. So there were a number of occasions when I would be alone in New York, and I would get a call from Mr. Peary's assistant saying, would you like to come down for supper tonight? And it would literally be, usually after a big fancy dinner the night before, there's all this great food that's left over. And on one occasion, Paul Greengard was there. So that's how I met him. And then I heard, he actually said a very funny line when we were talking about Ursula. This was after I had seen the first show. And another one of these impromptu dinners came up. And I was talking about Ursula's work, just how overwhelming it was. And he said, yes. And he said, unfortunately, I couldn't afford to buy it, so I married her. That's a quote that I remembered. Fortunately, I couldn't afford to buy it, so I married her.
I don't know the times, but somehow, when I was in Italy, I would sometimes just hear you, and I would be afraid to bother you. And I don't even know where it was that I was.
It must have been the Villa Aurelia.
Yes, right. That's right.
I had my studio there.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But I think that at some point it was possible for me to start talking to you, which felt so good. But we talked not in your study.
Right, studio.
It is in your studio, but we spoke outside, in other places. I was in love with what you did, even when I was, trying to hear it through the door, but it was like what you did with the piano. I mean, I've never heard anybody do, and it's something that in time, just got more and more and more wonderful.
I'm so grateful to you that once I think, he was already on with using a cane.
Yeah, that's right.
Paul Cane.
That's right. That's right.
And
he never missed one either.
And he but because of our contacts had been sort of removed from the music.
Yes.
But I remember the utterly insightful and it's the understanding, and also the kind words that he expressed to me after the concert, and I was very grateful for that.
That Paul did.
Yeah, that Paul
Yeah.
did. Well, had I known that you were actually outside the studio, of course I would have been ecstatic and invited you in. But I'm glad over the course of the years it worked out. But you know, I'm as you say. But after I saw your show, there are really no words. But it's just the reality, the truth of it, the realm of it, and there it is.
But it's so amazing that the love I had for your work, and then the same
Reflexive.
thing. Yes, it's never happened to me with anybody else. It's really strange, and I think that the time that you really looked at the pieces that I did was last year. You really looked at them because you were at the party of
Right.
my birthday.
Right.
So I saw you looking at.
I know at your shows that you're overwhelmed with your fans, but I'm really looking there. Trust me. I'm really looking there. And even that piece that you had, very different in Madison Square Park.
Yeah.
And as soon as I heard that you had a piece there, I was there.
Yes, it just makes me so happy. I feel so blessed.
Well, I'm very grateful and gratified. I mean, it's mostly an alone path. So,
It is. It is.
So,
like mine is. Yes.
So it's very, the call and the echo.
Yes.
It's a great thing.
Yes.
Except in your case, when I walked into that show, it wasn't so much like an echo, it was more like an avalanche. It's like, what's going on here?
But it's for me too, that I can't stop crying, It makes me feel like I'm in another world. It makes me feel like this is what life should be more like, and you can't find that life. In that life, there's so much cruelty and so much, I think, so much other stuff. And with the world that you make, it's so pure, it's so real, it's so, I don't know how to describe it. I know that my body somehow is in it. My mind is like in and inside of it in a deep, deep way that I've never had it done, to me ever.
Well,
So I thank you for that.
And the music that I'm drawn to, when somebody like me decides to play a piece, there's a difference between a dinner guest and a guest that's going to move in for forever, and it's very intensively for a whole season, and it's all what you're speaking about. It's that repertoire, that music, that also is what draws me, but it's also what attracts me.
Yes.
Absolutely. Why? This is life. This is life, and that's.
Is it the music that attracts you? Can you
Yeah,
say it another way?
that there's a lot of very beautiful music,
Yes,
but then I think that,
but you choose well.
yeah, well,
This one is really chosen well,
well,
and it's so difficult.
yes, it is. So I don't think it's a piece that that you just learn a piece of music. You have to sort of wait, and until I die, it will be a piece that will be circulating internally because it speaks of such joy and
It is joy. It's right. It is joy. But that's what it was at the end of his life. That's what he wanted to leave is joy.
above all.
You know, joy with the life that he had.
Exactly. That's quite that that there he was alone and deaf, and his domestic life. I mean, he had a lot of lot of unfulfilled aspirations also. But amidst all of this, the fact that he, at the core of his soul, he was grateful. It's incredible.
It is incredible.
It's just incredible. And he left us in that period the Ode to Joy, which he worked on for decades, but then which he brought to fulfillment, and which anytime anything really great happens all around the world, it still speaks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Remarkable.
It's a miracle.
Yeah.
It's more than a miracle.
I couldn't agree with you more. And there's no explaining it. And
and I can't even think of anything else like that.
Yeah. Late Beethoven. It's miraculous. That's the only, and that amidst all of that, I mean, I think that's what you're, somehow he was.
What a way to die. Oh, that's the way I want to die and you want to die.
Well, we'll let that happen when it happens.
Well,